Thank you. I call the meeting to order. It's 6:30 p.m. on May 13, 2024. As we're gathered here, we acknowledge with respect that we're meeting on the traditional territory of the Lungan-speaking people, and we are honored to have the opportunity to build strong working relationships with the people of the Songhees and Cousepsum nations. We're looking for a motion to receive the near-term, long-term, and the regular council meeting agenda. Motion. I call the question. Anyone opposed? Carried. I mentioned that Councillor Kim Jorgensen is online, coming in by Zoom today. So thank you. And I have regrets. Mayor Kobayashi, who's out of town, and Councillor Jansen and Councillor Ward are absent. Move on here to Mayor's message. I don't have any particular items. We've had a few events through the week past, and I think I'll move on from this point. I didn't ask ahead as I could have if any of the councillors had something to contribute, but we're all pretty silent on this today.
Yeah.
I'll keep it easy and move on. I asked for looking for a motion to adopt and receive the minutes of the regular council meeting, April 22nd, 2024, special council meeting minutes, April 29, 24, and the receipt of minutes for the Active Transportation Committee, February 20th, 24, and Waterfront Stewardship Committee meeting minutes, October 26, 23. Have a motion? Councillor Olson and seconded by Jordison. And any comments, questions? We'll call the question. And anyone opposed? Seeing none, that's passed. Public participation. I don't believe we have anyone online. We didn't at the prior to the meeting. So it's right now there's no one. No. And anyone in the room interested? Yeah, we have someone. There's not a big crowd tonight, so I'm not sure. Can we have 2 minutes per person. Do you want to start then? Come on up to the mic and state your name and address. There's a button right there at the base. You could just press it. There you go. The red light means you're on.
Okay. My name is Chris Forster of 2866 Hagel Road. And I would like to request an extension to approximately 7 minutes in order to provide the information I have for council.
And so for that, I think that'd be fine. There would be a motion required to extend 2 more minutes. Councillor Day, second. Olson and sorry, I heard
7 minutes for my for me to provide what I need to provide to council.
Oh, I see. I didn't hear that part. Can we do that? Assuming that's
it's up to the discretion of the chair and council.
Well, if you can keep it to 7, we'll do that. I think.
Yeah, when I phoned this afternoon, she explained I had 2 minutes, and then if I needed more, I could just request it at the beginning.
We'll go ahead. And anyone opposed? We haven't voted yet. So anyone opposed to the motion extension? Okay, passed. So go ahead.
Okay, my name's Chris Forster and I'm a resident on Hagel Road, and I'd like to talk to you about the plan to install sidewalks on Hagel Road. Starting just over a year ago, Hagel residents received a letter advising the city was going to proceed with the installation of sidewalks on Hagel Road, but made absolutely no mention of a bike lane or that we were going to lose all the parking on the street. No one on the street thought to question anything, as everyone had been anticipating the new sidewalks, and we're very glad to hear it was finally being done. Everyone was feeling good, and then we were finally getting sidewalks, and there would be a proper parking lane, which was a reasonable expectation, being told that we were getting new sidewalks. Just last week, we were provided another letter with plan excerpts advising the project was commencing. And even with this new letter, there was still no advisement that parking was being completely removed. It was only after several of us asked questions about parking after looking at the plans that the city official was forthcoming with the fact that all parking was being removed. So we are really not feeling like we had been completely, been dealt with fairly up to this point. So, so this is why I've ended up here. I just want to quickly read a bit of the letter that I'll be submitting formally. I wish to convey my disagreement with the current plans for the proposed installation of sidewalks on the west side of Hagel Road. While I am in favor of the installation of sidewalks, I'm not in favor of the complete removal of street parking to allow for a bike lane. I'm not against bike lanes, and neither are most of the residents I've talked to. But Hagel Road is not the place for a bike lane when there is significant need for street parking. Removal of street parking will significantly be detrimental to my use and enjoyment of my property, as this will cause occupants, guests, and others using and visiting my property to have to park 1 to 3 blocks away in order to access my property. As well, current properties with secondary or basement suites require street parking for their occupants, and with no street parking, the occupants will have to park 1 to 3 blocks away in order to use the property. With federal and provincial governments mandating municipal governments to increase housing supply, secondary suites will only increase on Hagel over time. And in addition to secondary suite parking needs now, future increases will mean even more requirement for parking on Hagel. So to eliminate street parking on Hagel is counterproductive to the needs of residents and to the direction local governments are supposed to be heading with regards to our housing crisis. Next, there is a safety issue with regards to the elimination of parking. Cars will be forced to park on the east side of the road where there are reduced shoulders due to ditches. As a result, a significant number of parked cars will stick out on the main road, causing problems when other cars approach each other, leading to potential safety issues. So I'd like to request that the current plan, which includes a bike lane, be revised to include street parking, or if the current plan cannot be revised to include both a bike lane and street parking, that it be revised to remove the bike lane. I'd like to provide the following comments with regards to the usage of bike lanes on Highway Road. During the brief time in the morning when kids are going to school and when they leave, there are only about 3 or 4 bikes at most that travel on Hagel Road during weekdays. The majority of kids are dropped off by their parents and arrive from the Pickford Loop through a designated trail. Today's reality is that the current generation of kids are mainly driven everywhere. That's mainly due to convenience and time restrictions, but also due to the fact that parents do not feel safe having their kids walk freely on their own in today's world. So it's only the local kids in a few square blocks that don't travel by car, and almost all of those walk and do not use bikes. We spend and I'm talking a significant amount of time outside, so we see what happens going by our house. And on any given day, non-school related bikes are maybe 1 or 2. This is because Hagel Road is there for the school, and it's not a connector road. It dead ends at 1 and empties into Veteran Memorial, where you can only turn right. So it's not well-used roads other than for school or residents. This is why having a bike lane will not have much usage, and therefore should not have priority over the local needs of residents. In summary, the proposed bike lane for Hagel Road will only result in minimal usage. Hagel Road has current safety features such as reduced speed and speed bumps, so a bike lane is truly not an effective use of tax dollars when adequate safety features are already in place. And the bike lane will only be used for approximately 45 minutes twice a day and minimal usage at best, as compared to local residents needing and using the parking lane 24/7, 365 days a year. So eliminating the parking lane will hindrance the increase of secondary suites, which in turn is a step in the wrong direction in trying to help deal with the housing crisis. And placing priority of bike lanes over desperately needed housing is just wrong. Local property owners on Hagel are the most significant stakeholders and should have been allowed to take part in the planning process. And now there is actually ample time due to the CRA's water main requirements to revisit the plan, and the local residents should be allowed to input now that they have been fully provided the details of the plan. Finally, I'm not here to just complain. I am here with the true desire to be part of the solution. I'm willing to put in all the time and needed to collect data, attend meetings, and formulate a solution to this problem. I'm a retired deputy fire chief, and I'm used to being on committees and developing reports, including council reports as part of a senior management team for a municipality. I'm willing to assist to any extent, and I will be, that I will be allowed to participate in the process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Olson.
I just wanted to make a comment. I appreciate every time a resident comes forward with a concern. But I struggle a little bit with the fact that Hegel Road is it's a main road near elementary school. And I feel that adding a bike lane would encourage more kids to ride to school. They may not be riding their bikes to school because there's not that safe passage. And so, I mean, I would be happy to have a further conversation with you offline. Feel free to email me, but I do feel like providing bike lanes, especially in areas that surround elementary schools, are there to keep our kids safe, but also to encourage kids to get outside and ride their bikes to school. You're right. A lot of parents are driving their kids, and I would love for my kid to be able to ride her bike to school, but having that ability to do that in a safe bike lane to me is important. But again, I'd be happy to chat with you about this.
Make a comment to that?
Sure.
Yeah, I know, and I can agree with you, and I say the main point I'm getting is it just seems like, when you look at what we're accomplishing, getting out of you having a bike lane versus what's being lost by the residents, it's one's up here and one's down here. But having said that, I mean, I have talking to the city staff who's our sort of liaison, I guess. And I've even, already tried to provide a solution that, in fact, would allow for both a parking lane and even a better, if there was an ability to work it in, and the bike lane would be inside of the parking lane. So that would actually even make it even better. And certainly that would be my first choice, would be we could have both.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is if we can't have both, then we need to.
Yeah, thank you very much for your comments. I think that staff will have heard this and we'll move into further discussions outside of this meeting. And thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you.
Kim, sorry, Councillor Jordison.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, David. I just wanted to ask actually if maybe us staff, if I just pulled up this the street on Google here, and I'm just wondering if the bike lanes and sidewalks are going to be on both sides of the street or just one. And I'm just looking at this area. It seems to be a bit of an older neighborhood, and the driveways seem to be double wided already. Like there's enough for 4 vehicles in each driveway. So I just don't see a lot of on-street parking. So I was just wondering if anybody knows what side the bike lanes and sidewalks are going on, or if it's both.
No, thank you. This conversation is going towards certainly a planning meeting here. It's very nice, but I'm not sure how this moves into the staff, and I don't know the timing on this particular project.
Okay.
Earl, would you have a?
Thank you, Chair Grove.
30.
Administration sounds like we're going to receive a letter, and I'm confident the team will reach out to the writer of the letter and engage further in the conversation. And should it need to come back into chambers, we'll bring it back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the public gallery looking to speak, participate in this lovely event? I don't see anyone else. There's no one online. I'll just mention that again. So we'll move on to item number 6. We have Trevor Botkin, Community Development Manager with the Umbrella Society. Would like to step up to the mic, and we look forward to your presentation. Oh, sorry, there's a button there at the base.
go.
Yeah, there you go. Red is on.
Thank you very much for having us today. This invite resulted after a meeting, a sit down I had one-on-one with Mayor Kobayashi to talk a bit about the current state of affairs in our communities regarding substance use, mental health, and recovery. He was very interested in some of our perspectives, or my perspectives, and the perspectives of Umbrella Society, and it was agreed that maybe it might be a great benefit for us to come in a delegation and speak to you all briefly today. Again, my name is Trevor Botkin. I'm the Community Development Manager with Umbrella Society. I've also managed to string together 5 years of recovery from significant substance use problems, challenges myself. And so I've been there, and I can see plenty of people are suffering in your community and other communities surrounding Victoria, as well as Victoria herself. Umbrella Society has been serving the Victoria area for over 23 years now. We have a strong recovery focus. In fact, I would say that that's all that matters to us, is getting people through this, through their substance use challenges, no matter what that looks like and what recovery can look like. We've done an incredible job serving thousands of people over 2 decades to find their own path to recovery from substance use. So we're a Victoria-based charity. We operate, I bet you more than half of our work is done in the greater Victoria area, communities like Colwood and Langford, all around the 14 municipalities. We work to support individuals struggling with substance use and concurrent mental health orders. This can be in a number of different ways. We do one-on-one outreach. We work with supportive housing units in those spaces to make sure that when people are ready, they reach out for help, or they're interested, that we can quickly get them the referrals they need into programs that would be of great assistance to them. We do in-house counseling. We offer it pro bono. Our counselors are funded by us and are deployed to anybody that requires that, both from families to individuals struggling with substance use, family members, anybody that needs that support. We offer in-house groups from groups that are tailor-made to people who are curious on what getting through these challenges might look like, but also more knowledge around their own substance use and why those patterns are happening for them. We're in a number of harm reduction spaces. We have, I'm getting a little ahead of myself because of time. I want to keep it brief, but we have a number of contracts with Island Health to work in harm reduction spaces. Again, we believe that our interest in those spaces is primarily to make sure that recovery is accessible everywhere and is available to people who need it. Our outreach looks like wraparound support. I mean, we started as an organization that sat one-on-one with individuals for coffee just to see where they're at and what life beyond their substance use challenges might look like, and to identify a path forward. And now we employ more individuals with lived experience in both addiction and recovery than anybody else on the South Island. So when we say we've been there and we can get through this, people believe us because they know we've stood in those dark places. So when our team members are able to align with individuals on their journey, it can be meeting for coffee, it can be helping them make appointments, because I know myself, when I was in the thick of it, it was really hard for me to navigate life and to string together just showing up for the things that were going to help me get better. Even doing paperwork was a nightmare. Very impacted cognitive ability. So our teams are able to sit and actually help with those referrals to get people's information down on those papers in a meaningful way so that they can gain access to those supports. And we're there following treatment and other interventions to make sure they have support. I know for myself, my recovery is a lifetime commitment, and it'll take a lifetime commitment of care. And so we look at working with individuals one-on-one to deliver a lifetime of support if they need it, as long as that need is there. Supportive recovery is the backbone of our organization. I mean, our lived experience workers, outreach workers, our professionals are really the heart of the organization, but our stage 2 and stage 3 recovery homes are really where the work is done. If you go through Island Health, you might get 30 days of care. I took 60 days, and I'm keeping it up. I'm doing the work and getting through it. A lot of people require 90 days plus. Following treatment, it's imperative, like a huge measure of success is having somewhere safe to go, to learn how to live again. A lot of us, when we got carried away from our lives and really the hooks got in us with these challenges, we sort of quit evolving and we quit growing and maturing kind of at that point, and often go backwards. We slip into traumatic responses and all kinds of terrible things. It takes time to relearn how to integrate and to live into society. And staged housing, supportive housing that we provide and won awards for is exactly what it sounds like. It's recovery housing. It's sober. There's accountability. There's curfews. There's testing. There's basic life things like cooking and cleaning and chores. And there's a real structure around the living, and the success rate on individuals that go to second stage and third stage housing is dramatically higher than those who just get 30 days of treatment and go back out into the world and are left to their own devices. Their devices are just not adequate to keep up, and they often find themselves overwhelmed and sinking again. We do our counseling, a lot of counseling one-on-one. We've got 2 in-house full-time counselors. We also have an arrangement with local post-secondary institutions to offer practicum time. So they'll come in and do 8 months of service with us in order to get credits for the course, and also expand our reach to serving individuals and families. I've mentioned our 8 partnerships with Island Health. Maybe it's more than that now, 9. But again, from Indigenous outreach to encampment teams to all the housing, supportive housing, wet housing, we are in those spaces to help bring awareness and opportunity to people looking for help. And we've seen some real miracles happen. And I feel like, honestly, if you spend a year and you pull one person out of that circumstance and give them a life worth living, you've done your job and you've earned your place as a charity. Some other great work, transitional housing. So helping, overdose prevention on those sites. Salt Spring Island, we run a non-recovery related housing just because we had the opportunity to take it over and service that community with just basic housing needs. So we're happy to do that. Our in-house groups are amazing, from your classic fellowship related meetings from AA to NA to other similar programs that sort of step outside of that sort of tried and tested format, like Smart Recovery and others, to our podcast that we do, where we bring in people with lived experience to share their stories and get those out of the community to sort of normalize that conversation and let people know that they're not alone, and there is life on the other side of this beast. I'll wind it up by saying thank you very much for having me here. Umbrella Society, like I said, although we're based out of Victoria, we are happy to be here serving many constituents in Colwood area. I just sat with Island Health today and was delivered some staggering statistics. Some good news, we are seeing a bit of a dip in the overdose fatality numbers. However, we are seeing the overdose fatalities rise when it relates to women. The average age of death is about my age, which is 48, 49 years old. And we are seeing an uptick in seniors. Still, it continues to be people in private residence who are leading the way. Like the vast majority of overdose fatalities are happening in private residence. The second highest number of fatalities is in another private residence, and followed by third, which is outside. So when we think about the face of addiction and substance use and mental health, it's quite easy for us all to hold Pandora up on a pedestal and say this is the problem. But that's really a small fraction of the problem, and people are dying in all these communities. It's everywhere. Thank you very much for your time. Please reach out to us at Umbrella Society if we can ever be of service. And that includes sitting at tables and being part of conversations or helping to influence the decisions you make with frontline, on the ground ideas, opinions, and perspectives. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Trevor. Perhaps we have some questions for you if you want to hang out there for a little bit. And I really appreciate your story, explaining the Umbrella Society and how it operates, and your own personal tie-in to that is really It's quite a wonderful thing to hear, and appreciate that access to, for us, a resource that we could access in the future. Councillor Olson.
Thank you for the presentation. I don't really have any questions. I did have one, but you answered it like right away. Like the lifetime support is amazing. And I just wanted to thank you for sharing your story because it's not always easy to do. You're a great speaker. And just want to commend you for your ongoing recovery and for all the work that you're doing for everybody else. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Councillor Day.
Thank you. Likewise, I want to thank you for being brave and making the presentation. That's huge. And I'm very aware of how it touches our community. A very beautiful girl who went to kindergarten with my son left this world that way. And it is something that affects me to this day, just how important it is and how difficult it is to find the right thing for the right person. So I just really commend you. Are there any challenges that you think that we should understand for people with who are seeking help?
Perhaps you could push your button there again. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of challenges. I think as a community, we need to do better at acknowledging that people aren't completely intact. And I think as a community, we put too much expectations with our, we put too many expectations on people to walk the walk on their own or to do the right thing or to want it bad enough. I know for myself, like I'm not a miracle. I just barely had access. I mean, I'm very lucky. I hadn't burnt every bridge. I had a family member who just happened to have enough money for me to get into treatment. I just happened through luck not to have to wait to get into treatment. But I had access. I had great access to support and continue to have access to support. And one of the things that motivates me to do this work is my time in treatment and my time in recovery, meeting people that just don't have access. And for me, it doesn't matter how you boil it down, whether it's a disease or a choice. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life that, and I know a lot of people that make a lot of my mistakes in life that there's no argument that they deserve to lose their life over. And at some point, choices become things that we can't come back from without significant interventions. And it takes a community. It really has taken a community to get me clean. It has taken a tremendous amount of community effort for me to stay clean. But the carrot that's in front of me is hope and possibilities. Hope. There was hope at some point that that it was a possibility and that I'd have the service that I needed. And the more I saw that it was actually a realistic possibility that I could get on top of this thing and manage it and live a life without the use of substances. It's a miracle that I didn't overdose.
Yeah, for sure. And with all, I was sort of looking to find out little, I mean, we're not gonna change everything in
No.
one day, right? But just what the barriers might be to getting more service out there in communities. You know, you mentioned you're Victoria based and that, I mean, wherever it is, that's a good thing. But I know that this struggle is everywhere on the island. I've looked carefully at the statistics for quite a few years now. And there isn't any community that's spared. So I'm just looking to try to sort of understand what kind of magic it takes to bring about treatment options in community.
Yeah, you know, I think about some of the great work that charities do, and I honestly wonder myself why it's left to charities to do it. You know, I think about the great work that Mr. Mike Manhas is doing with Rewired Recovery Society, just simply doing events to raise money to send people to treatment. But, you know, I think, you know, one of the most damaging things I see right now is it's become a political football. It's a hot topic. And rather than it just being medical problem. And us being able to deliver health supports, just like any other medical problem. What we're seeing at a ground level in the community is that elements of harm reduction are a mess. People are arguing too much, not working together. There seems to be an absence of recovery and conversations around harm reduction. And, you know, from a recovery standpoint, we see the value of very well measured and deliberately applied harm reduction. But in the absence of great and robust recovery support and opportunity, it's just postponing the inevitable.
Right.
You're moving a person from sitting on one time bomb to sitting on another time bomb just before the timer runs out. And that doesn't serve anybody. What does serve people is investing so enthusiastically as a community and as councils and as politicians in solutions that people see they have hope. Because right now we're seeing people go to detox and they just get returned to the wet housing they were in.
Yeah.
I couldn't go and spend 24 hours there. I don't know that. I'm not 100% confident that I could spend 24 hours in one of those hotels and not start using.
Thank you so much.
Right on. Thank you very much again, Trevor. I appreciate you coming out this evening.
Thank you.
And take care. Yeah, we'll be in touch, I think. Thank you, Councillor Day. Anyone else? Okay. I think we can move on. Appreciate the contribution. The next item on the agenda tonight, correspondence requiring council directions. So we have a 7.1. The item is an item that's from CRD. We have a letter on file that from Kristen Morley, the corporate officer and general manager of corporate services, CRD. So do we have, does anyone have any questions about? Of course, we have someone. Good. It's a very small council tonight. Councillor Wilson.
Thank you. I don't have any questions, but I'd be happy to move the recommendation that the city of Colwood consent to the CRD adopting bylaw number 4588, regional parks loan authorization bylaw.
We're ready to move forward. Do we have a seconder? Second, Councillor Day. Any questions, any comments, discussion? Call the question then, and any opposed? Seeing none, passed. New business 8.1. Carolyn Richman, our inimitable climate planner at the city of Colwood, will just talk to us about the new electric vehicle charging infrastructure item. Thank you.
Thank you and good evening. Thanks for your time tonight on this item. Just give you a quick overview that looking back to May 2022, Council approved a partnership for a regional funding application for public EV infrastructure. And I'm happy to report that the CRD led application for Clean BC funding was successful. So this provides Colwood with 8 level 2 chargers to be installed in park sites. As noted in your brief, that staff have refined the feasible park sites to include Herm Williams, Colwood Creek, Lagoon West, and Meadow Green. So we are here to answer any questions you might have, but staff recommend Colwood or Council authorize an agreement with the CRD to install the chargers, then transfer ownership and management to the city, which was requested by Council in 2022. Thank you.
Perfect. Councillor Wilson.
Thank you. Great work on receiving that grant funding. This is really exciting for us. I'm happy to see more EV chargers going in. And looking at the list of the parks, I think it's a fantastic fit. So I'm just really excited to see us moving forward with this. So thank you, and I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Okay, well, anyone else
you.
got questions for you? I'll hang on to that then. Councillor Olson. Are we moving ahead already? Okay, boom, bang. I did have actually myself before we discuss that, if I may. I understand that once there's an installed, we charge a fee and we maintain. So hopefully that is a zero sum game, and we can end up, if maintenance starts to run a bit up, do we simply raise prices? I think I'm kind of rhetorical question here, I think, but if you could fill that in, John, that'd be great.
Through the chair, thank you for the question. We'll assess it, and as need, we can always come back to council and reassess the fee that we apply to make sure that it covers our needs.
And is the data available about the cost of maintenance quite sound? It's quite focused on those elements, meaning that it's easy to separate the costs associated with that particular technology from everything else that's in the world. Is it presumably?
Thank you for that. Yes, through our GL structure, we're able to isolate the maintenance costs versus the hydro costs and provide a realistic picture.
Right. There's also an element with these charges, I understand, about peak charges, demand charges, that hydro charges when, let's say, everyone plugs in all at the same time and there's a sharp spike demand. And then they take that rate at the top of that spike and apply it to our overall usage. Is that an issue? Do you, am I speaking about something that affects us that you know of, or?
And looking at the hydro bills, it's not something that I've seen to be a factor so far, but it's something that we'll keep tabs on and get back with council if we need additional insight that way.
Yeah, okay, perhaps it's a matter of scale that we're simply, it's not too much use so far, but once the charges are in at the park and ride, it seems to me that that might change a little bit. There will be a more demand. That's quite a considerable increase, but anyway, I know that you're aware of it. I'm just curious because I hear people in the world of the EV world talking about the way these demand charges can affect things on the cost side and in a way. Not that that can't be mitigated, but okay. Thank you for that, John. We have a motion and a second before us. Any questions further before we're all set? I call the question. Any opposed? Seeing none. Passed. Thank you. I'm flipping through the pages so fast here I can hardly keep up. Bylaws. Item 9. So 9.1. We have a few here tonight. So the mayor has a way of having Marcy read these bylaws for us. I think I might just stick to that procedure. I'm used to having it out in my ear. So Marcy, would you please go ahead and read them for us?
Thank you. So first we have bylaw number 2018, which is the land use amendment for CD41 zone, 2346 Sooke Road, and it's going for first, second, and third readings.
And do we have a motion to that effect? Oh, Councillor Day would like to speak to that. Oh.
Thank you. I was just going to let the everyone know that I will not be supporting this bylaw going forward. This is one that we've had significant feedback from affected residents in the area. It was rather close, a close call, I would say, in terms of whether or not the size of the property was appropriate for the uses that are here. So I will be supporting those residents who spoke out against this development going forward.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? We have a motion. I don't think we got the motion, did we yet? Councillor Olson, second. I'll second it. Jordison, second. Questions? Any opposed? Councillor Day opposed. And Carried. 3-1. 9.2.
My apologies. Bylaw number 1989, land use amendment 2054, 2076 Sooke Road for adoption.
Moved by Councillor Olson, second. Jordison, second. Discussion. All those opposed? Councillor Day opposed? Carried. 9.3.
Bylaw number 2031, the tax rate bylaw for 2024 for adoption.
Councillor Day, are you speaking? You're moving? Moved by Councillor Day. Jordison, second. Okay, call the question. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, it's carried. 9.4.
Bylaw number 2032, the sewer utility fee amendment for adoption.
Motion, Councillor Day, second by Olson. Anyone opposed? Seeing none. Passed, carried. 9.5.
We have sewer local area service enlargement amendment bylaws all going for adoption. Bylaw number 2014 for the Colwood Main for 2113 Sooke Road. Bylaw 2024 Colwood Main for 3298 Machosen Road. Bylaw number 2025 Colwood South Sewer for 3298 Machosen Road. Bylaw number 2028 Colwood Main Sewer for 2343 Sooke Road. Bylaw number 2029 Colwood Central Sewer for 2324 Sooke Road. Bylaw number 2033 Colwood Main Sewer for 3355 Machosen Road. And bylaw 2034 for Colwood South Sewer 3355 Machosen Road.
We have a motion. Councillor Day, seconded Jordison. Councillor Olson moved. Jordison, second. Thank you for that correction. And any others opposed? Seeing none, carried. And then Badoon moved by Councillor Day for adjournment. Councillor Olson, second. All those opposed? Seeing none. And the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. We have a pause here, maybe it's early. I don't know. We have another meeting